G'day everybody. Now I want to talk about the real world. Just for a minute for you, some piece some real information together all in one instead of all spread out as docos are. Docos are all spread out. They have all their bits of information about why North Korea got bombs and blah, 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 blah. And if you don't watch them all, you only know bits. You only know the propaganda that's happening at that moment. Like, yeah, nuclear. North Korea's got nukes. But do you know why? Do you know how they got them? Do you know this? Everything comes in steps. How much have you learnt? How much do you know? Now, when it comes to nuclear is a tool for bad guys. What do I mean by that? Well, if you can get a nuclear bomb, you get to become God in this planet, right? So every country that can get nukes have now the opportunity to become God and stir up shit, cause a lot of chaos, become something important in this world. Why is that? Because not just one, of course you need a few of them, and a big one will be good. Because once you get it, it's like the cops. Why doesn't the cops go to certain neighborhoods? Because they cherish their life. They're not there to protect you. They've got families, a lot of these coppers. They're more for just writing down scripts for you, right? Fines, which I'll talk about if I can before I forget about this, how all that rolls, and I've talked about it before. And so they don't go to certain areas. It's too risky. And so those areas get away with selling drugs and doing all sorts of things. And people die more in those areas if you hear about it in the hood and all that kind of stuff. And cops will just say to you, why go there? See, they pass the buck. They can't fix nothing. They will just say, well, you shouldn't have went there. That's why you died. Everyone just passes the buck because we're in the real world. Don't be in the world of, oh, you can call the police, this is protection, the things they tell you, watch a movie, it looks like, cops turn up when you need them. Not in the movies, what happens there? They actually mostly just turn up when you've done the job yourself, which is why I'm not about to talk about certain things. Because cops are really only there to serve a piece of paper. It means once they know something, some other higher person, which I can talk about why kings only just had armies, right? And then the copper has a piece of paper to go enforce it. Right? But we hear that the coppers are meant to have a heart. They're meant to be like a robot, like a smart AI. Is why we wouldn't replace them with robots like in RoboCop 2. But I think the coppers these days probably be best to be replaced by robots because there's no difference. And at least a robot, they will do their program, right? Where a lot of people forget their laws and how to work their job for real. Right? Might even take them a while. Where a robot, it knows. You just got to put the program in it, right? Makes it nice and easier. Definitely if you don't need no heart, right? Or use common sense properly with all these other knowledges. It's just if they do this, it's this, that. That's what coppers say in a lot of these countries. Oh, we're not going to go back and why you went to do this action. We just want to talk about that you did it, and because you did it, this is it. Robots can do that, right? We don't need humans to do those type of jobs. They can pull over, you're speeding, and they can enforce these things. So if coppers are only that, well, guess what, coppers? Robots can take your job, right? Because you don't use your heart. You're not coppers with fucking heart. And you can't use your heart if you don't have education because you won't have to use it properly, right? So if you're educated and you got, hear that? Hear it? You got heart, right? You'd have to be a decent copper. That's what the coppers were designed for, but they've failed us all around the world when it comes to us groups, like in America, how they treated people differently. Because they could have their own discretion, right? No, they're allowed to call their sergeant if they want to take your car away and something like that. Or they don't, right? Because of that, they don't have a heart that's equal to everything because they're not racist and all that. They'll be racist, like in America, how black people go, well, they don't do nothing for us. And you know what, black people? I sort of feel I get that, where there's laws that are real, but they don't use it for you, do they? Right? So that means they're corrupted. I get it, and they're favouring. And because you whinge and whine, the police bracket you as you deserve that. Like a criminal in jail. You deserve to live like squalor. Every single one of them, no matter who did what, they're going to have the same little area that you just deserve it. Right? So back to the nukes, everybody. So if you want to be all powerful and have these coppers, which is countries, not come to your hood really at all unless it's really, really, really necessary. So you can pretty much get away with doing anything in the hood. What happens in the hood stays in the hood. What happens in North Korea stays in North Korea. Right? You can get out of it. That's good. Go tell your story because no country is going to be able to stop it unless North Korea arcs up. But as long as North Korea doesn't arc up and cause too much problems like the bad guys, as long as they just stick with drugs and do certain things, coppers won't come in. Right? But when it gets too bad and too full and they have to, they're like, oh shit, we have to. Otherwise, we just look like we're not police at all. Right? And then that's what you see them coming in at the end of the movie kind of thing when they have to. Right? Shit, all right, it's over. We can go clean the mess. That's what we're good at. Right? That's what a robot can do too. Right? Even when it comes to investigation, a good investigator is someone that has heart and can think of who would be right and who has a heart and who has not. Having known about heart's a good thing because if you have no heart, you just make judgments. Yeah, and you'll be just like a robot, like saving that kid. It had a 30% probability to save the child, but you had a 70%, so I took you instead of the child. But you should have took the child because well, he had a 70% chance because he's more likely going to float around and do something. So you get the one that doesn't. That's what the like. I understand why Will Smith's angry with the robot because I said the same reason, right? Is why he's angry with the robot because the robot could have saved him and then saved me, right? Her than me, but instead of saved me, and then it realised that she's already gone and there's no saving her now. Dumb thinking, no heart. Plus, a kid's more important than an adult. Adults lived its life a little bit. This robot didn't have quite enough programming in it. And if it did have that, then it's judging, isn't it? Right? Sometimes it might be a prime minister that's drowning, and it's a child, and then everyone whinges that the prime minister died over a child, right? And the child was a bad child that was already a killer. Does that mean the child should be rescued? You see, only heart knows these type of answers, and education and being right. That it'd be hard to program a robot. That's what makes us different. Is we educate in all sorts of areas and not just being what it's been programmed. So when you get a nuke, everybody, what happens is you become that powerful country. And how do you stop such a powerful country? Just like these bad hoods, that's why the police don't go. Well, in the end, you let it go, and if it gets too far where you can't, because they're coming for your kids and stuff. So as long as they don't annoy you, they don't annoy the people who can stop them, they will leave them. So the bad guys keep annoying the small folk, right? Because they can't do anything, and leave the big folks, the rich people alone. In fact, the bad guys even work for them in some cases, right? To annoy things. This is the real world. If you can't have a lawyer, you're screwed. Right? This is the real world. Right? The lawyer represents you. That's how I know. A judge only listens to a lawyer. Right? I had to try to get a lawyer. If I try to speak, the judge didn't understand, didn't want me to really do it. A few times I tried to do a case, right? If you've got a lot to say, you best have a lawyer. Then you try to get a lawyer, and then the lawyer goes, "Oh, I've got no time. Here, this is what's going to happen." That's what you caught. Right? And he's got no time because you're getting a free lawyer. That's why they say don't get a free lawyer. And the government pays for it. What a waste of money. That money they spent, I could have just done it myself. The government. If we know that they're all going to do that, which they tell us that's what they're doing, then why pay them? You're wasting your money. These lawyers just go, cool, it's like a free money. Oh, there's the dude. I'm just going to say the script I always say. It's the standard script. Gets it through. Voila. Causes problem, actually. Causes, I reckon these lawyers shouldn't get paid unless the people they're helping signs off that they did their job. You get it? Government? Then they can get paid. I was nice to my lawyer because there's no use saying nothing nasty and you can't do nothing about it, true? So you just go, thank you, right? I get yelled at and I go, thank you. Some people go, why'd you say that? Well, at least I'm being nice and I've got nothing else to say. So I be nice to them. They say, be kind. They don't like it. But it's all words, a lot of these things in a lot of cases. Definitely if they don't have the education of that, isn't it? So back to the nukes. So once a country gets nukes, they know they're more all powerful because when you go to take over these people with nukes, you're going to cause a whole bunch of problems. They're going to go, if you come in here, we're going to send this nuke, right? We're going to blow up this, and we got some hidden. You're not going to know what's going to happen. That's why certain countries that were leading up that should have been taken way beforehand. America screwed up by allowing North Korea to design these. We hear them all the time, but we don't want these countries to do this, this, and this. But in the end, they get it done. So what are they preventing? What is all done when it comes to nukes? They say nukes was peaceful, made a peaceful. No, it didn't. It actually has created the guaranteed inevitable. You know what I mean by that? Well, everyone's going to get nukes. One day it's going to get too far. Every person always goes too far, uses all their resources up. Say a person with a nuke, he's definitely trigger happy, bad guys, right? They will take you down with them. Bad guys, no heart. They'll take you down with them if they can, no worries, right? If Hitler had a bomb, he would have used them back then, right? He was sending his people, he would have sent his bombs too, right? As he kills himself, as you see him do. That's what they do, and that's scary, isn't it? And so imagine a whole bunch of leaders like that, all just sitting down there waiting, right? And if they all go too far, or one goes too far, they needs one to start or a couple, right? And then they send a nuke. People try to wipe him out. You try to wipe out North Korea, he's gonna go shit. And you probably could with army against army. That's how life should be. That's how we kept more control. But now we've got all these bombs that can wipe us all out over 10 times over. This world's already a time ticking bomb because we've got bombs that can blow it up 10 times over. And anyway, it hasn't happened yet because of people haven't attacked hard enough yet. Everyone's afraid. And so with the afraid and with that, you slowly see hoods get worse. They don't get better, do they, people? When you don't go into these places until one day they have to get in until they collapse. And that's what the world we're waiting for. It's very fucking scary that we're waiting for that. A retaliation. We only need 20 of them, roughly. Definitely spread out, 30 of them. And we got hundreds of thousands, probably, or at least thousands. I know certain countries, 20,000, 30,000. Right, you had them all up. We got more than enough. Once it starts, that's it. So how do we prevent all that? How do we prevent such a future that will never turn out like that in the end? Because this one it is that you get rid of these things. You get rid of the threat. You start seeing things go the good way. You see over time that these things are getting disappeared. Right? The people are standing up. People are willing to risk life. If people aren't willing to risk life, you just get a whole bunch of more pansies. They can't even stop these people till that inedible comes. Or the inedible will come that the bad guys will take over the world collectively between them. Because they go, what are you going to do? If you attack me, I'll drop this nuke. So either let me do what I do, or I drop the nuke. What's your choice? That's the choice we're all leading up to soon. That's why there's no country that has real freedom either. Real freedom. Real lawyers. Real truth and honesty. Right? Don't need money to get that. When you hear about you need money to get the truth out, what does that mean to you? Because that's the truth out there. They say you don't, but you do. Right? You look at all the cases where people didn't have lawyers and see how far they got them. They pretty much say if you don't have a lawyer, you want to go to jail. That's what I hear. That's shocking. That means the rich win even more, isn't it? The bad guys would win even more. But anyway, I've blabbed on all of this plenty of time. What goes around comes around pretty much in the end, doesn't it? So what happens is this world is creating, attacking, and people will fight back, and all of a sudden when no one gets listened to, heard about, or nothing, they change. Right? Here's a little theory about a story of a good person. Story of a good person. Then decides to stand up for himself one day. Hasn't hurt, doesn't physically touch anybody, right? He might rob a candy off a shop every now and then, off the rich, and no one ever suffers for the actions that they do, really, right? But they do bad actions like stealing candy from a big supermarket that makes plenty of profit, so that little bit of candy's not going to hurt, right? And then after a while, these bad guys, they come in, they shit-stir these people. They shit-stir, they try to take you over, they shit-stir. Then all of a sudden, they turn you into their enemy. Because you can imagine, like the black people say that the police don't listen to them. Like I was talking about before, and you don't have to be black. So you just turn into you don't get listened to. There's laws, no one wants to use it. They're there for them. The coppers turn up for me, they'll go, nah, let's get out of here. They're recording. Nah, let's get out of here. They're black. Nah, let's get out of here. I don't like that fella. We're allowed to say this. They're allowed to do it. It's their discretion. Apparently. I've got a copper walking away on me after I got beaten up. Just because I said I was recording. Not because of anything else. So if they can do that, and I've got a recording of it, so they can, and you can't show that without evidence and all that shit, what does that mean, people? They create these monsters, right? And And after a while, I'll go, well, I'm just a piece of shit. I can't get listened to. So, and people are attacking me with false claims, and I'm getting them. So they win because I'm black, right? And they listen to the white man. And so now I am a harasser. Now I'm a violent man, and I'm not. I was this person, and I got attacked. What do you think they're going to turn into? They're either going to kill themselves, which they'll probably like that happen when all these bad people, or they turn bad. So if there is good people, right, they just turn bad, right? But it's the bad turning people just bad, and then the bad having a fight with the bad, and everyone learning rules. So when it comes to learning rules in this game, the bad always win. The bad know the loopholes. The good, it's like the show where the bad guys go, "Come on, take me in, pig. You can't kill me, pig. What you gonna do, pig?" Right? And unless the pig actually does a bad thing and uses his heart and actually takes a risk, and then he can somehow talk, but he takes a risk by shooting them. You see someone go, "Fuck you," and you shoot them, and they get away with it. And then in some cases, you see a lawyer come in, so it depends on lawyers. And they get away with it, and everyone goes, "Yeah, you should have died and all that, and he deserved it." And there you go, there's your case. Or you can have a bad guy come in, no lawyer, and he's sport. And if the lawyer says this and this and this, and the lawyer stands up, then you're fucked. And the bad guy wins. Then you get sued like out of Liar Liar, where a burglar was breaking in, and because he got injured, he was allowed to sue. Little loophole. He shouldn't even be fucking there. You get it? That's the system you live in. To me, it's pathetic and sad. And none of us can do anything about it. And if I'm a person like me, if I speak, you get blocked on the internet, no one cares. In fact, they attack you with the same thing. So if I'm trying to complain that someone's stalking, and then I start watching them because I'm the one that can, because no one listens to me that he was stalking, then I become the stalker, the black dude, because you're doing the job for them. You get it? But he stole from me. He beat me up. I've got to watch him. Now I'm a stalker? Oh, hang on. I am now, because that doesn't exist, does it, that he beat me up and stole from me? It's just a hearsay, thearsay, because it didn't get checked up. See, you're black, right, in the white society. And that's happening more and more and more often. And that's scary. You wonder why hermits are happening more often these days. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Have a good one out there, everybody. Enjoy your bubble, as I would call it, because I'm happy to debate how scary this place is. And you wouldn't really want a child in it. Would it be a place to raise a child? I would say no, right? I guess if you wanted a child and you had to, you would, like people do. I want a kid, I want to pass my gene, or hopefully it'll get better, or think of hope, right? But does having more people in a world that can't feed it a good thing? Does having people in a world that's not really safe at all, and the animals come in where torture and chaos will happen, and it could be your kid? Do you think it's really that safe out there in your little bubble? You think because you're safe now that you'll always be safe? That's another thing that a lot of humans are stuck at. Well, it's good now. We're good now. We're this far away now. Do you know history properly? Huh? Will only ever be safe when what they say, and they do what they say for real, for everybody, for everybody. It's not Black Lives Matter, it's All Lives Matter. It's not that women and children are important, it's everybody's important. Don't you hate those stupid sayings, people? We're all important. We don't need to keep hearing that there is no more important person. Black is not better than white, white's not better than black. A woman's not more important because she can pop out a baby. She wouldn't be able to get it without it, man. We're all equal. Stop this, we're better than this shit. And when they can complain about women violence, well, there's women that bash men up too, and it's all the same. And they're violent usually because of the issues they're going through in their life. So you don't go fix it and have a go at them and need all these things to go find out why they're violent, why that violent act happened. Find out why it's happening and fix that. Oh, no, we've got to go lock up all these dudes. They're all angry because they're beating up their wives because they've got no jobs. And we're going to keep doing that. And we're going to fail in getting jobs for them. Get jobs for them. I want to hear that you're locking up people because they've got no jobs, but there's jobs available. So they must be pretty useless then, eh? But imagine the government failing you and you had a job and you succeed. They go get a credit card. The government fucking does it, right? Go get a credit card and you're living your life. And then here comes the government. Oh, you got to stop working now, right? We're going to pass the buck to you. We're so fucking smart. We're going to pass it back to you, right? We're going to control your life. You might be a person that's a pilot or a real army man in a real world that everyday survival anyway and wants COVID, right? Your survival is to feed your family, but they're telling you to stay home and don't, and then worry about it later. And then when that happens, you go, shit, now I'm in this debt. Now I can't even get a job because of what they've created. Now we're fucked. Now I'm fighting. Now they want to lock me up. That's the system. Yet they created it, didn't they, people? Right? Now, it's all right. It's the other way around. Nothing happened. But these things happen. All the system does is pass the buck to you. It's like the leaders. The massive debt. Oh, hang on. We'll bring in someone else. We'll blame them. And we'll fix it. And yet we see that story repeating. Why we're in this problem. What are we going to do about it? We're already stuck. Huh? Don't get too educated, because when you see it, you start not wanting to live. Why is that? Because you go, what can I do about it? You actually get depressed. No wonder everyone's getting depressed, because you know all this information, but you can't do nothing. And so you'd be depressed. I'm not in that bubble. The ones that are not depressed are the ones who are in those bubbles over there. They got money. They can get the lawyer. Life is sweet for them, I understand, when they're in that bubble and you got the money and all that. And people do listen to you. Life is great. Life, it's like heaven. We could have heaven on earth, if you will, and to equalise, but they rather take all your money instead of keep putting it back in the economy so it all equalises. They rather make themselves look good by holding it back. Right? So they can get called, I'm richer than you. You know what they should be called at, definitely in a world that's struggling? You're the biggest, greediest one, are you? You and all your greedy ones holding the money back. Controlling things. Buying things out, causing things between yous. And go, it's not you and it's not you and it's not you. It's the other fellow. It was him. But collectively, you're doing it. Right? When it comes to the rich people and all those problems, the government the people themselves, which is why we have a government, to stop one person, particular people, getting power, because it's just meant to be the government and the government's meant to be the people in it. That's meant to be the powerfulest thing. But no, in real life, the powerfulest things out there are the richest people with all the money. And they supply the governments and they own bank reserves. And they create things behind the scenes and coverts and freak you out over nothing. You could have went out and, if you went out and risked it, you would have kept living. That's what our life is, isn't it? Risking. We go out risk. We go out and we're a train driver and that train can derail and die. It's a risk, isn't it? But yet every now and then we can have these little pathetic excuses that, oh, if you've got a disease, you might die. Well, if you've got a disease, you can have rules for that. Once you got it, you can stay home and this and that. But other than that, you shouldn't make people do things. You shouldn't make people wear a mask. You advise them. Like you advise them what to eat. Like you advise them what advice they should have with laws and the way to live. Advise. If you're controlling, that means you think you have the right, like a parent, as you're still educating. That's the only part anyone has really sort of a right, is to educate until they have the right to kick your ass and get old enough and big enough to slap you around and you can't control them anymore. That's what parenting is, isn't it? Right? Till then, while they're a little bitch, you can control them, can't you? Right? That's why people don't want you equal. They don't want you to have a gun. They rather control you with the gun. Right? They rather say everyone's dangerous. Here in Australia, they can't have a gun as they can't pass the gun test. Here in Australia, they don't get to have a knife at Scouts, as it's dangerous, and Australians have like people like Down syndrome that just may do something stupid. You get it? That's how they treat you, and that's what they're doing to you. Anyway, have a good one out there, and see you later.